Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Smacked Up Wrestling Podcast. With me, I've got the man who taught Ric Flair how to woo, Martin.
Ahoy, ahoy.
And I've got the Queen of the Ring with me as well, Kirsty.
Hey, everybody.
Right. We had a no bad week of wrestling, I've got to say. We had some amazing things come, like Southpaw Wrestling, which I do think we should talk about. Just to highlight how funny it was. But I actually want to kick this podcast off, to show support to wrestlers. Certainly Paige and Xavier Woods from Friday after it looks like somebody's hacked Brad Maddox and personal stuff's been leaked. And the big question is, what will WWE do?
Well, apparently Dave Meltzer spoke to WWE, and because they're a victim of a crime, WWE aren't going to do anything. They're going to wait for it to blow over, and if it doesn't blow over, then they'll reassess then. But at the moment, they're not going to do anything.
The smartest move they can do is it's not like the talent did anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It was all in private. It's up to them what they get up to. It's really bugger all your business.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's one of those things. It's a crime. That's basically what's happened. Somebody's hacked, and I think WWE is doing the right thing by just, okay, it's happened. We'll go on. I mean, with the New Day segment, when it finally went up on YouTube, all comments are disabled. You can't.
Well, the other thing was they pre-recorded that bit on Raw because he just can't trust Big E.
It's not even that. I don't think you could trust the Brooklyn crowds. I mean, everybody.
Well, they were going to say stuff regardless, but it's just Big E. I mean, every other week he has a little line that's relevant and it's quite funny. And then in the replays, they always edit it out. Like when he was saying something about Lana being Russian, so she must have hacked his phone.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, pal, on you go.
So apparently live, there was a recording went up while that segment was playing on the big screen, and there was loads of chants, but WWE, as it was going, completely dumbed out the crowd so that you couldn't hear it. Apparently there was "We Want Paige" chants, there was "New Day fucks" chants, shit like that, and they'd done it so they were smart about it, not to put them out in front of a live crowd, especially in Brooklyn.
They'd done the right thing, because even during the women's match, you heard the chants for "We Want Paige." Fucking, it could be the greatest thing for her because she's relevant again, but it's at the same time it's still what has happened as a crime. I hope the person gets caught because obviously he's made more threats about it. Xavier Woods, he's kind of he'd done the funny side. Yeah, I mean, at a gaming event, telling everybody and remember to delete your Twitter was the best thing he could have done. They've handled it correctly, I think, everybody in the right way, the people involved. So it's one of these things. You can understand if it was different if they put it out, but the fact that it was a crime, it was the same thing kind of with the Seth Rollins situation when he was champion and it was his ex-fiancée. It's just let it blow over and then everything will be back to normal. That's the most important thing. I mean, people were suggesting, will this affect Xavier Woods? And I don't think it will.
Nah.
I don't think
too much money for them.
It shouldn't affect any of them, to be honest.
But moving on, after all that, because Southpaw Wrestling hit our screens. And I've got to admit, this is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen done by WWE. This was perfect.
It was good fun.
Oh, I'm so glad that they finally done something with Big Tex Sex Ferguson.
Never thought we'd see on the WWE thing. Cena was quoting him and talking smack.
I know, it was so good.
It was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. People, I highly recommend you watch this. John Cena's class in it. Jericho is always brilliant. And everybody, Rusev was so funny. The chicken farm, that was one of the funniest things.
He's American, honest.
It was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen, and they played it so well. I recommend everybody to watch it. It is perfect.
I think they want the evil banker to be a real character.
So,
Going to be honest with you, see that fake laugh just slayed me. I
mean,
he's just wasted.
I wonder I really want to know whose idea was this. I have a feeling it was like Gallows and that. I've got a bad feeling.
On Twitter, Cena was calling him out saying he pitched it and they finally accepted it, but when it came time for the characters, then they were like, right, you guys got anything in mind? And then, of course, Gallows is like, well, got this character I've been using.
For years.
It is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Just so many people that are wasted in the actual thing got a wee chance to actually do something like Fandango as Chet Chetterfield.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I missed you, Susan.
It was perfect.
Total Anchorman stuff.
It was
It
perfect.
really was.
It's not even. I was going to say, not even that. Kirsty didn't mute quick enough to put her cup down. I stayed in. Because I
tried. God knows I tried.
I seen the mute coming on after it happened. I was like, you timed it wrong. No, I'm keeping that in. That's funny as fuck. But let's get to the main points now, because this is the second last Raw and SmackDown before the go home shows before Mania, and I feel they done good. I haven't really got a lot of complaints. I felt they did what had to be done. Still protecting the stars, still keeping stories relevant, and like upping the ante in some of the aspects of matches as well. Starting with Raw, the firing of Mick Foley was something like I think everybody called back last year, and I think even he's now turned around and said he was only going to be here for 2 months, but he stuck a bit longer.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but
Yeah, he did.
I can understand why.
It's pretty obvious now. Obviously, the Kurt Angle scenario is going to happen, but with the Stephanie McMahon scenario, I know it's a character, but I don't know. I don't know if it's
It's changed. Like,
yeah.
I don't mean her specifically. I mean the structure of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything always revolves around the evil authority figure, and like you don't even need an authority figure. Just have off-screen people. These are the matches we're getting. These are the storylines. But no, we need the fucking McMahon drama. I'm just a bit tired.
I do get what you mean, because a wee while ago, I watched. It was just after the New Year Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I went back for some reason and watched the New Year Raw for like 1996 or something, and Triple H and Stephanie basically had the exact same promo, and I was like, holy shit, this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah. It's been almost 20 years of it.
Yeah.
But at this,
like 98 to now.
Like at the same time, like as smart marks and stuff, we've always got this perception of like things will never work on Raw because of this, and I think that's part of the charm that they use it for. Because it fuels our hate. Like it's like a revolving door. We'll hate something and they'll use it against us, and we're constantly just like chasing each other around. And it's just, for me, it's kind of, I don't always enjoy it, but when it's done right, it can be done really well.
I know, but there's no harm in getting it a rest.
No.
That's all.
And it doesn't need to be 24/7. No, I agree with you there. There's times and moments where it can work, but it is every single Raw, and it's the main storyline is Stephanie's been a bitch as usual. Triple H is coming in to save her.
And
blah, blah,
there's
blah,
never
whatever.
a comeuppance. There's never a payoff. She just emasculates whoever it is she's shouting at, and then she has to be the one that looks cool. And comes out top, even though she's the baddie.
I mean that's the thing I've now started to take from it is what is the payoff, right? There's a Triple H, take Triple H, right? There's going to be a payoff. There's a match at Mania.
Aye.
Even if it's unsanctioned, I think whatever's going to happen between him and Seth is like there's the payoff between the two. I get it.
Aye.
Shane
There's a
McMahon,
comeuppance to be had.
yeah, AJ and Shane. There's a payoff at Mania. You get it. Stephanie,
Aye.
there's nothing.
What's she going to do? Slap somebody and kick them in the balls again?
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing. I mean, see, like say talking, say there was a match between, just say, throwing it out there, her and Bailey. Just throwing it out there, her and Bailey.
Aye, I know you've got a very good point there because of all that shit that we talked about last week.
It puts. Sorry, mate, on you go.
No, it's just the whole point of heels in wrestling is that they get heat, the crowd cheered the face for, coming from underneath in most cases, or, like, can you imagine if between 1998 and the end of 1999, Stone Cold just got his ass kicked every week and never got one back on Vince?
Aye.
Who would have watched that?
Exactly. There's things like not even going back to like using attitude era stuff, but even making things like relevant in that sense. Like, well, there you go. Like, you can't really use Daniel Bryan. Okay, so ignore Daniel Bryan in that sense. But there's Shane and AJ going to do something. Triple H, they need something as a payoff with Stephanie. I mean, this has been since the start of the brand split. I think she's had I can't count because like there's so many times she's starting to change more than Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
because it doesn't matter what the act is. She has to be the one that gets over everybody else. She has to be the cool one.
It's been weird. It's been weird to watch.
Even in terms of like the guys, because like I know that like technically she could have a match with like Bailey or anything, but even when it was like her and Chris Jericho, like that while back, you still felt like there was some sort of payoff because Jericho would embarrass her and then she would embarrass, and it felt like it was going somewhere.
Completely.
Yep, exactly.
But like with the Sami, with like the Sami Zayn stuff, now it doesn't feel like Sami's ever getting anything.
He isn't ever. And the last person to actually get something over in Steph was Vicky Guerrero, and that was what 3-4 years ago now.
Yeah, our final night.
Our final
Vicky
night in the company.
Like, that felt so good.
Of course she did. But meanwhile, the rest of us are stuck watching Steph take one spear and then rip everybody else's testicles off and emasculate them on TV to be the one that looks cool. And the same thing happens to Triple H, but at least Triple H gets a comeuppance once a year.
Yeah, like he'll put over anybody.
Well, easy now.
Well, apart from Sting. The speaking of extending the subject of the women's, something we called, I think a lot of people again has called this. When it was announced it was going to be a triple threat match for Mania, like I said, I didn't want to see it again. We've seen it last year, except you've just swapped Bailey with Becky, but it's kind of a carbon copy. It's the same match. Now they've added Nia Jax, Fatal 4-Way. I think this will work. I think it will work.
I'm kind of at the point now where I'm sick of them saying to, like, all the women, everybody's going to get a Mania moment. Like,
yes,
Mania
absolutely.
matches are supposed to be for the people who have worked the hardest, built their storylines, and done the best. And at the moment, because they're doing the whole women's revolution thing, it's like not everybody's going to get a match. And I'm like, why though?
Yeah, exactly.
Because not everybody deserves it. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, no, everybody is built equal, and it should be apparent come Mania. Like,
I mean, like, I think the case, the prime example, and it's no disrespect to her, is like Carmella.
Mm-hmm.
Carmella is.
I think since she went heel, her character has built really well, because I feel as if I know that wee lassie. I feel as if I know about 10 of them,
but
and they're all wee coons like that.
She still looks green as fuck to watch.
Being in a multi-person match, though, is going to help hide that.
Aye, that's
what the thinking is behind having Nia.
Yeah, and you can see it with Nia. As much as I do love Nia as well, there's still some things that has to be tweaked for Nia, but she'll get there eventually. You can see she's started to adapt more. And you're right, like having like 4 people or that gauntlet style they're going to do in SmackDown, it will pay off. Whereas like each one can help each other to cover up anything. I just hope it pays off. That's all I hope for. It pays off. They're going to make sure it does. If not, well, we're in for a shit show, which I don't want to see. I don't want to see that. But I mean, they were changing and chopping things during the night. Like, so now it's still confirmed that we have a triple threat tag team match, which I think is a great idea. I just hope to God it does not go to Enzo and Big Cass.
It won't.
I just want
to see it happening.
I want to see them actually split up.
I think they will split them up. I really do.
I think they will, and I think it's not going to work out for either of them, and they'll put them back together when it's too late. Seen it happen before with WWE. I've got this horrible feeling. What's going to happen? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's working right now. We know that. We've spoke about it previously. But like Enzo on his own is no threat to anybody. He's just a wee wido. He's the wee Ned that hides behind the other Neds, shaking his fist, going, "Come on then," and hiding behind the biggest Ned.
Do you know who he reminds me of? Scrappy Doo.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
That's what I see when I see Enzo. I see Scrappy Doo. Just
That's
saying why
not a good
I
gimmick.
It's but like that's the character I get. Like that's the reference point I always go to. I'm like, he's Scrappy Doo.
I mean, it's painfully obvious that
they can't work.
No.
Like for whatever reason, it's not working for them together. But they're definitely fucked with each other.
Yeah,
because Cass has no charisma unless he's keeping something hidden, which based on what I've seen of him, he isn't. I mean, I think in a year or two, he could be passable in the ring as a big guy if he just does and it's not often I would say this, but if he did a little bit less.
I mean,
because at the moment he's a hot tag guy, he comes in, he does, the big boot and the throwing the guys about, but if he maybe, and again, not a sentence I'm ever going to say often, a more big show pace where what he does is less, but it counts for more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
when Show does a move, there's, it's few and far between, but you get the idea that there's power behind it. So, like, Cass gets hit by a guy half his size and then doesn't sell it, does a big boot, and the guy just goes down like a sack of crap. Something like that.
I mean, if you take Enzo and Cass, see if the two of them were one person.
You've got a perfect entertainer.
You've got a perfect entertainer, and that's the problem. You've got the two guys, and without the other one, it's kind of a... Whereas if you look at Cesaro and Sheamus, the two of them are entertaining in anything they do.
You can split them up and put them anywhere in the whole company.
The club is the exact same with Gallows and...
My only problem with the club is that they're not allowed to show how charismatic they are.
Same.
I know.
Because they are tremendous.
Oh no, they two are some of the funniest guys I've ever heard. They're that entertaining.
And the two of them, especially like Carl's a really, really, really good wrestler when he's given the time, and he just isn't getting it the new, and it really, really fucking upsets me. But with the Big Cass thing, I think, especially with Baron, like when you compare him to like Baron Corbin, they're nowhere near the same level. And think with Cassius Ohno, when Cassius Ohno comes up, I think Big Cass is fucked, like completely. He just doesn't hold. I know that the experience levels are like decades apart, but at the same time, nobody's going to care about that. All they're going to care about is how entertained they are. And Big Cass's spot once Cassius Ohno comes up, if they're on the same brand, he's fucked.
Exactly. I mean, if you were to put, say, Cassius Ohno in the SmackDown brand with Baron Corbin, and that, then you're looking at an entertaining brand. Entertaining as fuck. Put them on Raw. You've got Braun Strowman. You've got Cassius Ohno, and then you've got Big Cass. And Big Cass is going to be the one that's going to get overlooked. That's the way it's going to have to be. Big Show won't be there for long. Same with Mark Henry. So you've got to look at these big guys as, right, okay, you guys are the future. Big Cass, unfortunately, you've got to take what the other ones can do. And they've got a presence about them. Big Cass, I don't feel a presence. I don't feel it.
Right. And
It's
that's
that big
really
lovable
strange
teddy
for
bear.
somebody that size. Like, I mean, there's maybe he's because he looks kind of skinny for how tall he is. Like, obviously, if he walked up to him in real life, he'd be huge, right? but on TV, the way you perceive him, like your average punter would think of, say, Kane and Cass, and they would go, "Well, Kane's bigger." I mean, for years we got told Kane was 7 foot. We know he isn't. That's not the point. But Kane's big. He's, as you say, he has a presence. Cass is just, in comparison, a lanky streak of piss.
I mean, there's so many things that they two are going to have to fix, but we'll see what happens after Mania. I just don't want the belts going to them.
I don't want the belts going anywhere at all.
It's one of those things. I mean, I don't mind. See if Cesaro and Sheamus get them back. I don't mind because they two guys are entertaining. Just still proves that there's still no mid card and Raw. And like we've said before, they should have just made that one brand had the tag team and one brand had this, and vice versa. Having each brand have their own things is now starting to see how shallow it is just now until more superstars come up. The other main talking point, I mean, we had an amazing promo with Triple H. He was on fire.
Yes.
He put Seth Rollins there like the champion that he is. Like,
aye.
without him even being there, he put him over so well and got me so hyped. I was like, if he's not there next week, I'm going to scream. Like,
He will be. He has to be.
Aye, he has to. I know he will be. Like, but in that in the moment where you get where you're like, he's like, come out the new, do something. Like that need for more came across so well in that segment, and the fact he was blaming the fans, I was like, fuck you.
Which is exactly what you want.
Yeah, it was done.
Exactly.
It was done so well. Which brings another talking point up before we get to the main one. Obviously, the main title is now advertised for next week. This is what we all fucking dreaded as fans. This, you've got two go home shows to Raw, right? And you have an amazing promo with Triple H's match. The women's one was so-so. Tag team so-so. The US title one I thought was done really well with Jericho.
Oh, that was
Really good. The fans ate it up. That was perfect. And the attack on them was really good. And at the end... No.
The wee details, like when they showed the wee picture of wee baby Kevin Steen, the fact that he done the exact
I've
same
seen that
voice,
online last week.
It was perfect.
Were everything. The fact that they're still kind of pushing them as a like building faction almost, where
Yes.
Joe's coming out for the distraction. Everything about it. There's nothing at all to complain about with this storyline.
That's it exactly.
You know, I miss having stables, and like the total dream thing would be after that, the next draft, to have this weird Triple H group and then the club as well on the one brand, just to see what they could do with it. Aye, exactly.
I so badly want it. Like, there's no even words. I want it so badly.
I think it all in likelihood probably will happen now.
No, because it's too good. It's too good.
No, but like with the talk, the AJ getting like, because Vince McMahon being really over with him.
And the rest of the boys, and then you'd have this little hardcore Triple H NXT group that are just kind of doing what he says, you know, kill this guy, and it's too good to happen. It's too good. We don't live in the world where that happens.
I don't know, because like they need to do something with the club, like, and I don't think they're going to draft Finn Balor because he was out for most of the year. So I do think that they'll all stay on, and they never really ignore the fact that the club is a thing. They always have the
Aye.
wee cheeky.
There was a little tease at SummerSlam.
Aye, like they always have the wee moments, and I do feel
Aye.
as if after SummerSlam, if Vin hadn't get injured, that they were going to do something, and I think now it only makes sense. Even like I know they won't make Bullet Club this massive thing
No, they
because
don't need to.
WWE didn't
You
to.
just need the 4 absolute badasses that aren't called Kenny Omega,
I mean,
and that's them.
so like you see all that stuff and it looks awesome, and then your main title's no there again. It's
Aye.
Don't need it. It's that simple. I mean, the belt looks like a toy. It's held by a 50-year-old. When you've got the rest of the card being that strong, it doesn't need to be there every week. So like, look at UFC, right? The same belt's never defended on consecutive pay-per-views, right? Because of all the training and stuff involved. That means people are now conditioned to that sort of mentality. So WWE should take advantage of that.
Aye, but what I mean is if you're going with wrestling, if you take SmackDown's one, like Bray Wyatt wasn't in the match, but he was there. They were still doing segments, still keeping the story
Oh, I
going.
know, but Raw had their little tape segment going over the feud.
But it was all like stuff we'd already seen. There was nothing
Well,
really
I know,
new.
but I'm just saying, it's there. They're still doing a build-up. You don't need necessarily to have that as the focus of your show, not when you've got these other belts or the likes of the club and the tag team situation. It'll make it feel more special.
But
And that's what I liked about Brock's run with it.
But does this no mean it kind of like hammers home that a part-timer and a 50-year-old guy should not have that belt?
Well, we all know that anyway, so why not have it so that we don't need to look at him?
I mean, I get your point, because if I did have to look at him every week come out and stumble at his promo, I'd probably lose my mind.
Here's the thing. He's won the belt. He got booed. He showed up. He got booed. The smartest thing they can do is keep him off the telly, because next week, whatever city it's in, he rolls in, he's getting booed.
I think it's Philly.
He's definitely getting booed.
I think it's
Why
Philly.
are they doing this?
I think it's Philly. If I remember
Oh,
from Raw, they said Philly, so it's like the two most hostile crowds
Perfect.
next to apart
Perfect.
from Chicago. I was like, oh,
Philly's better.
fuck.
Philly doesn't chant about CM Punk. Get out of him. It's from 2014.
It's I
I
see
don't
when
think I'll ever bear him.
I mean it's one of the ones. It's like when I'm positive. Somebody leave a comment in the comments if I'm correct. I'm positive they said Philly. I am so positive. If it's Philly, then they're fucked.
Why are they putting him on these hostile tunes? Because it was Chicago, then nothing, and this week was a pretty decent crowd, and then they're going to put him in Philly.
Oh,
and
the Brooklyn-
want him to be booed?
This week was Brooklyn. Brooklyn's usually a great crowd, not an okay crowd. Oh,
They were
And-
they were fantastic.
I like them.
they started off a little bit flat, I thought, but as the night went on, they got better and better.
They
But
didn't-
that's why they always get SummerSlam, because they're a hot
Aye.
crowd.
I mean, the fact that they never gave a shit about last Friday, and like they're even chanting for Brad Maddox, which I found fucking hilarious.
It was. But again, as Kirsty was saying, they were smart enough to.
No, they had
not
to do
have
it.
The crowd.
Aye.
They had to do it. There was nothing you could. You knew you couldn't have picked the timing. WrestleMania season.
Aye.
You couldn't have picked
Oh,
the
God.
timing, but it's one of those things. It's happened. I thought they handled it pretty well as well. Like you said, with all the segments, they've done their best to drown them out for a hostile crowd. But
I usually, sorry,
no,
I
pal.
I usually hate when WWE will like dumb down the crowd, like the sound. But this week it was done right for the right purposes at the right
Aye.
times.
Yeah,
Like when they do it to try and like make it sound as if Roman isn't getting booed, I'm like, we all know
It
he's getting
just
booed.
sucks the atmosphere out, because you're
Oh,
sitting there and you're
but did
watching
you-
maybe the Rumble, for example, and he came out at the end, and then look, the crowd stopped reacting.
but did you
You don't
notice?
want people to think that.
But did you notice this week they never done it? They never
Well,
done it.
that's because this is the advantage of having Taker. As his opponent.
Because
There's no
like
point on it.
to close with the Raw segment, I think this is going to be triple threat. I've got a funny feeling this is triple
Aye.
threat.
Braun deserves it.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense now.
But Taker actually took a bump, and I was like, oh, he's been cleared officially. Like,
Yes.
He's actually cleared. There we go. I was still worried. I was like, well, I've still not heard anything about if he's cleared or no. And he took a bump, and I was like, right, whew, everything's good. We're getting somewhere. There's going to be a match, but I do think just to protect, even if it's just to protect Undertaker for taking too many bumps, Braun needs to be in there, and he deserves it. Him and Roman have had like a really good feud. Like,
See watching.
I want to see Braun murder them.
See watching Undertaker chokeslam Braun was actually some sight to see. That was some sight.
That was
full effort.
See, Cast, that's what you've got to do.
That, and again, Braun Strowman's another example of that. Like somebody who's not been there, who's still wet behind the ears by all technicality, but hides it really well, knows his strength, knows his character, and goes full force. I still feel with Cass as if he's still timid.
Yeah.
He's like one of those giant people who don't know their own strength and are possibly scared of it.
I mean,
which actually Baron Corbin had a bit in NXT. Cass definitely has it. You've seen it with a number of big guys. See, especially like the mid to late 2000s when you had like the generic big guys who were trying to get over. You've seen it a lot. It was guys who didn't know their own strength and held back too much and looked a bit shit because of it. But now with the Performance Centre being a thing, guys are finding out what they can actually do, if you understand.
And it's behind closed doors as well, so if they fuck up, we don't need to see them fuck up. And that's always been a thing with WWE, where they bring guys in far too early, and then suddenly the lit deals in the headlights, whether it's with the Performance Centre, and having that. And having, even when they've got like the takeovers where they've got the big crowds, it is a way to ease them in. And if they fuck up in NXT, it's fine, because we all know that's a developmental, and it's a really great system. And I'm like, everybody's enjoying it, obviously.
I mean, before we start the SmackDown segment, one thing I found fucking hilarious, apart from everything else that's happened, Jim Cornette is
just Matthew's tweet summed it up. A picture of Father Ted, and it says, third hour of Jim Cornette's Hall of Fame speech, and now we reach the liars.
Right. We know.
Did anybody see Kevin Owens' tweet?
Yes. I mean,
I so badly want, like, in like 10-year time, I want...
Just do it next week, because you know what? He'll be dead by the time Owens goes in
there.
His heart will have exploded from the
blood
storage.
pressure problem constantly is at everything. Like,
the thing I want to see.
It's not good enough.
The thing I want to see is, will he make any comments to Kevin Dunn, which
I so badly.
No, he won't.
I know he won't.
However, on his podcast the day after, he'll make up a story about how Kevin Dunn came up to him backstage and, you fucking me, what you motherfucker, I fucking took your teeth and stuff
I hate him.
I can't stand him, but I want to see this. I want to see if he fucks up.
I really hope that he's got like a suit jacket and trousers on and a Cornette face t-shirt instead of a shirt and tie. I really do.
This is something I want to see. Just when I seen that, I thought that will be funny. I mean, having Bischoff there, like, that's pretty cool. That might be pretty cool, but the Jim Cornette one just stole everything. I was like, oh fuck.
But for me, it's like know how when you know a car crash is about to happen,
yeah,
you can't take your eyes away from it.
You want to yell stop, but you sort of want to see what the result is.
It's just going to be a pile up with all these people.
Exactly. I'm not going to stop it.
I really want like a backstage camera just streaming. I don't really care about what happens. I just want to see the mess a backstage at this fucking Hall of Fame, because there's just going to be fucking glares everywhere and fake smiles, and I just want something to pop off.
Yeah.
Please.
I mean, speaking of kind of fake smiles on SmackDown, the Tag Team Championship.
I
was surprised.
I was surprised.
They have fucked up American Alpha and
yes, they have.
That's why they shifted the titles off them. And that reaction the Usos were getting towards the end of that match, which was a great match, by the way.
I was ready to say that. It was a really solid match.
But the Usos were getting like the kind of pop that they never got when they were faces.
Yeah. I mean, the thing from SmackDown, the matches were tidy. The woman one was a bit, but
It did what it had to do.
it done what it had to do to hammer home.
There was a different highlight in SmackDown. We'll talk about that in a minute.
The highlights, yes, because that was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. But the matches were tidy, but that, I don't know, is it right to drop the belts 2 weeks before Mania? But then again, they've done fuck all with them.
Exactly. They weren't going to be on the main card. They were lucky if they're getting on the pre-show. They're probably going to be part of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal at best. I think.
Sorry, I keep interrupting people today.
Don't
I think
worry.
before this happened, they weren't getting on the main card at all. I think now with the reaction the Usos have pulled, I don't like it 2 weeks before Mania, but I understand why they've done it now, so that they can put them on the main card, and they can, because they do deserve it. Every time the American Alpha get like 15 minutes of air, they will have a stormer of a match with anybody.
Yeah.
The Usos have completely changed their characters, and they've done it really well. I really like them as heels.
I'm really glad that they're not Hispanic gardeners anymore. That was a horrible couple of months.
They're no GTA villains anymore. They've got their own look.
Hispanic gardeners.
If the stories are correct, with the likes of Roman Reigns getting drafted to SmackDown for the sake of AJ Styles, will we see a stable with them? I don't know. It might be.
No, it's already happened. But they are still technically heel and Roman's a face. So.
But if they turn Roman even tweener for that, and they do it as a bloodline story, again, I think as a heel it could work a lot more, and I think a lot more people would jump on Roman if he goes tweener, even if it's just tweener, because there's things coming out that they're going to try and keep him face and blah blah blah. But if he turns tweener for that could work really well. Because the Usos as heels are great. They're like wee fucking pit bulls just chomping at the bit constantly, and it's great.
Perfect. The other segment, before we actually no, I think we'll leave the one we were wanting to talk about till last because it was that damn good. But the other segment I thought was fantastic. Baron Corbin Randy Orton match was tidy enough.
Yes.
You're starting to see Baron has excelled so much in the last 6 months. Tidy match, and the way they've now cemented home the Dean Ambrose match with him, and
I liked the forklift.
Yeah,
as well.
I did.
I liked that he was on the forklift. I was like no straddle, no tap it, but actually on the leg.
See, as long as they don't make it a forklift match, that's the
no, it's going to be some kind of no DQ thing.
But the thing I loved the most was the backstage segment with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. That was good. Brilliant. That was just
I
wow.
like this idea of building him up to be a bigger threat now that he's not held back as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was in Talking Smack, they had been talking about it. Like Sister Abigail was keeping Bray in check, and even Luke Harper's kind of wondering what the hell Randy's done.
Yeah, Luke Harper's now got a shirt change. but I love this storyline as much as at the start we all questioned that, and now that we're getting to the end, this has been one hell of a storyline that I've enjoyed. This has been really good. They've done everything right. That's the thing. There's a payoff. It's going to happen either way. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. I
think that this is another really good example of like when us as fans shit on something immediately, to just give them the time to play it out and actually get to the end of the storyline to see how we feel. Because as fans, we're so quick to jump and be like, this is going to be awful, it's going to be shit, blah, blah, blah.
Kirsty, I was one of the first ones that said it. I was one of the first ones that said it back when they had Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton as the main event. I can't remember what pay-per-view it was. And
the match was not good. Well, they had that one where they said the match is coming and Randy was injured, and then they had the match and it was okay.
Yeah, because they had... he still had these concussions, so they had to think their way around it. But the fact that they've went on, he joined the faction, they won the titles, they done this, then Bray became the champion. It's been brilliant. They've done it so well. There's nothing you can really go, right, okay, you proved fans like me wrong. You really did prove me wrong. You've done a good story.
I like when WWE proved me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be proved wrong. I want to enjoy the product, obviously. But I think this is probably, arguably, Bray Wyatt's best storyline.
Oh, definitely.
Of his career.
Definitely. Best time for Bray Wyatt. If he loses the belt, hopefully he gets it back soon.
Either way, there's going to be a feud going over the summer.
I personally, I'd want him to keep the belt at Mania. But I know
ideally,
it won't happen that way. But the other segment, with the Shane McMahon and AJ just now hammering home this match is now happening. Brilliant again. Brilliant. I fucking love it.
I really liked the wee moment where he thought that Shane was coming in and it was Rhino and he's Slater and he's just like, alright mate, how's things?
It was so funny. But like you said, Katie, you said it in the your first episode. This is going to be a spot fest. And then we seen the Shane O'Mac spot fest last night.
Highspots.com.
I don't care what anybody says about Shane. I fucking love that elbow from the top turnbuckle. I love seeing that. And
that's the thing is, Shane's spots are really exciting. Like as a Wayne, I loved the coast to coast. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world.
It was.
It was.
And the fact that he jumped off things that were 30 feet in the air onto test of all people. Jesus Christ!
Or
it's
even
as bad as trying to get the Miz to catch you.
Even look at the Steve Blackman SummerSlam hardcore
That
match.
was a great match.
When he took that fall.
I don't care what anybody says, Steve Blackman was the man. Go back and watch him. The guy's a proper badass.
Oh, but it is going to be a spot fest. But AJ isn't necessarily known for doing loads of spots, so it's not as if it's not going to work for the two of them.
DNA stuff. He's not shy of doing a few stupid things.
I think we might be on to a fucking good match. I think we will be.
I think it might even steal the show. And I don't say that lightly.
As everybody knows, I'm the biggest AJ fan in the world, but I still think at the moment that the surprise match is probably going to be Neville Austin. I think that's going to really, really shake some people. That's going to be a great match if they get some time for the Cruiserweight belt. I think it's going to be fantastic. And
I don't even know if that's going to be on the main show.
I hope it is.
Obviously, because Austin Aries is fantastic. But
he's great. As well packed. Neville is fantastic. And I think a lot of people are, we didn't even talk about their segment there. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on this match. And come Mania, I really hope that they just kind of shove it up everybody's backsides and they're like, listen, don't sleep on us because we're fucking fantastic. They're two fantastic wrestlers.
You have got a good point, pal, with the sleeping on it. Because looking back at every other match now we've spoke about, the one thing we haven't really went into is the Cruiserweight title being at Mania. Austin Aries being in that division makes a hell of a lot of sense.
It does, but when you look at what they've been doing on 205 Live, everybody was expecting it to be a more straight wrestling show because of the Cruiserweight tournament, but that was what was so refreshing about that, because it was presented as a legitimate athletic contest. Yet, if you watch 205 Live, it's been Alicia Fox, a fucking umbrella, and then just stupid storylines that would have been out of place on fucking Sunday Night Heat.
See, that's actually what I was going to compare. I was actually going to say Shotgun Saturday.
But at least that had matches that, there was the focus. The whole point of that was we're having matches in a bar and kicking the shit out of each other.
I mean, the 205 stuff is just something I've never...
Also, sorry, just while I remember, Shotgun Saturday Night gave us Undertaker bloody pile driving Triple H onto an escalator.
Yes.
Never forget that.
It did.
I mean,
did indeed.
I think that's the only thing about the Cruiserweight division. It lets it down. 205, I've still not been sold on the product yet. But in saying that...
Overall, Austin Aries is a good
yes.
addition. has been fantastic.
Yes.
But until they start giving airtime to a fucking brawly, they've got bigger problems that need solved.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But you're right, Kirsty. They two, in theory, should have a fucking epic match.
Aye.
If they have the time, yes, they'll have a fucking epic match. That
And
means...
I do think that a lot of people are sleeping on it, and I'm like, I wouldn't sleep on they two. It's just the caliber of wrestler that they two are. I'm like, this is going to be one of the ones where people are like, holy fuck, if they're give the time, and even if it's only 15 minutes they get,
Well,
I still
that's all
think
they
they'll have a
need.
stormer.
So in saying
Aye.
that, if people watch it and they do get the time they deserve and they put on that amazing match that they're capable of, and then they put on 205 Live on the Tuesday and you go, why the fuck is there an umbrella called William taking the 10-minute segment?
That's...
I mean,
I'm going to watch back again.
it's true. But hopefully there has been talks backstage, apparently, of them shaking up the way 205 is presented, so hopefully
Good.
that this is the start of it, because the last few weeks, I do watch it, because like, if I love a wrestler, I'll be there, and I'm there for
Aye.
Neville, and I'm there for Austin, and I'm there for Noam Dar as well, so like, I'll show up, and I'll suffer through it if I need to, just to see the matches even. But there has been a slight change. It does feel, even though there is the gimmicks that are still there, they're putting in more wrestling, and it's no like 8 minutes and 3 it's talking, so they're not getting
Yeah.
it. And there has been like 10-minute matches and 15-minute matches. It started to slowly feel that they're slowly changing things.
Oh,
So
I'm glad to
hopefully
hear it. I
we're
really
getting
am.
there.
So, let's talk about, I think, one of the greatest fucking things I've seen in SmackDown
Ever.
ever. And it was not the in-ring match. Right, okay, let's talk about the in-ring match, right, okay, because we had John Cena versus Fandango with
Can I
Tyler
just say
Breeze.
those two, the fashion police, are getting attention they deserve, but they're still getting screwed over.
I mean, with this match, Tyler Breeze dressed as fucking Nikki Bella. Brie Bella. Breeze Bella, sorry. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Then obviously you had the way they finished it with the two looking strong as fuck.
Of course.
But the highlight has to be the Miz and Maurice reenacting the two and Total Bellas was the funniest thing I have ever seen.
The Miz is just perfect at it.
Aye.
Oh,
It really was. It was amazing. I cannot say enough good things about it.
I mean, there's been so many comments. A lot of people loved this, which I'm happy about. Then I was like, this is some of the stupidest shit I've ever seen. This is some of the funniest things I have ever seen in SmackDown. They done this so well. They pulled it off, and the daft jokes about like real number or whatever.
Aye.
That is. Then the constant, I'm gonna show you a diamond. I've got DDP yoga. That was some of the greatest fucking punchlines
I've
When
got-
ever.
he got down on his knee, and then she goes, and he like, tying his shoes like a 5-year-old. Damn it, I need Velcro.
It was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
for me, it worked as well, because by like the third one, I started to feel really bad for Nikki, because they're constantly poking fun at her. And usually I don't care, but after I think it was like the third one, the last one, I was like, this is really fucking sad. Like, this poor lassie just wants to get married and have wins,
And
and
you're
it's,
bullying her.
and you've got it's became a meme. It's like, oh, it's Nikki, but see the balloon one. I'm
I'm gonna
going to
pop
pop
the
the
question.
question. Oh,
I was in stitches. I thought the Miz was brilliant. It was so good. They poked fun at the Marine, the original Marine. They poked fun at that because now he's the face of the Marine. It was just so fucking funny. With them, I really can't wait to see this match. This has been one of the ones where everybody was like, this is going to be some of the most shittiest things we've ever going to see, and this has turned out to be one of the funniest things and one of the most talked about matches now on the card, because you want to see how this is going to go.
you just know that John's probably going to end up stiff as hell at some point. Like, you just know.
Yeah.
Same with Nikki. Like, Nikki's probably going to throw a few slaps in there, and you're going to be like, they're not happy with this at all.
I just thought it was perfect, but it is one of those things, and I wanted to keep that for the end of the show. I just thought they done it so well, and watching it back again, I was like, that is funny as fuck. They really did well on it, really well written, and the way it was acted. The two, Maurice and The Miz, were fucking perfect. It was so funny, so funny. But bringing the show to a close, everyone, thanks once again for tuning in and listening to Smacked Up Wrestling Podcast. As you can see, there's all these friends down the list in the corner. I want you to check them all out. Dead on Dave. Where, by the way, did you know that if you go to WrestleCrate.com and use the promo code DeadOnDave, you save 10% on your first purchase? Real Talk Metaphor Messiah, Big Daddy Land, all the friends down that list, check them all out. As always, leave a like and share the video. Let people know about Smacked Up Wrestling Podcast. Leave a sub in the gaming fall, because you see all these games getting done, and there's more coming, by the way. There's more coming. The Elgato is finally here, so more is coming that way. As always, I've been Will.
And I've been Kirsty.
And I've been realising that the older I get, the more obvious it is that Billy Dunn's Attitude Era music was just too much information.
But it questions his sexuality, definitely.
No, it doesn't. It tells us his fetish.
Everyone, you can check us out on Twitter in the description below. Thanks once again listening to Smacked Up Wrestling Podcast.
Cheerio.
Bye.